Have you ever wondered how a land filled with rich history and diverse cultures became the epicenter of one of the world's most enduring conflicts? Today we delve into the intricate tapestry of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, beginning in the late 19th century, when the Zionist movement sought to establish a Jewish homeland in the Ottoman-controlled region of Palestine. The British government, in the Balfour Declaration of 1917, after much debate, controversy, and one of the more modern European genocides, finally endorsed this idea, leading to a surge of Jewish immigrants into Palestine. Even this was only had with immense pressure by the international community after the genocide inflicted by World War II. But the world was on the brink of a great upheaval. The devastating aftermath of World War II and the horrors of the Holocaust intensified international pressure for the establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine. This led to the creation of Israel in 1948. But even before then, Arab states such as Jordan, Egypt, and Syria had expressed sentiments antagonistic to Jews living on their land. However, this was not a peaceful transition. The establishment of Israel was accompanied by war and resulted in catastrophic attacks on Jewish, both Zionist and non-Zionist alike, and in the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians who became refugees. But not before Jordan, with Palestine's blessing, had annexed the whole region, including Israel by force and in Israel's infancy, a point most often missed historically. As if this didn't help spark a decades-long conflict between Israel and the Palestinian people, a conflict that remains unresolved to this day. Palestinians seek to establish their own independent state in at least a part of historic Palestine. However, there seem several inconsistencies to this statement. For one, Palestine seemed less apt for independence when under Jordanian rule, nor did they seem empathetic to Israel's desire to be autonomous and free from Jordanian dictates. It seems the defense of its borders by Israel, which were created by historical consequences, control over the West Bank, the Egyptian-Israeli blockade of the Gaza Strip, and Palestinian internal politics, which alone are never discussed, keep this goal out of reach. Yet, to fully comprehend the complexities of this conflict, we must look back even further to the era of colonialism. The scars of colonialism and imperialism, in all their forms, continue to shape the world we live in today. Colonialism was, and still is, a destructive force, obliterating cultures, traditions, languages, and ways of understanding the world. It was a wholesale destruction of memory. The consequences of this loss to humanity are incalculable, as countless ecological traditions and diverse ways of being with nature were swept away. It goes without saying the rise of the European nation-state, which we all suffer, was indeed the birth of colonialism, along with ideas that come with it, such as national supremacy. As the era of formal colonialism ended, efforts were made to erase its crimes from public memory and history. Mythological narratives of innocent imperial greatness were crafted and promulgated, unblemished by enslavement or genocide. King Leopold of Belgium, for example, burned all documents associated with his brutal rule in the Congo, leaving us with incomplete fragments of history. Much of this mythos hurts the progress of the Western imperial core, as countries like America and England look to generate new wealth in an era where taking it from someone else by force is frowned upon. European anti-Semitism and the rise of anti-Jewish, anti-Islamic, and anti-Hebrew, and anti-black hate are fervent examples of how these colonial aptitudes have boiled over into the post-colonial world. The catastrophic decimation of human life in the Americas, where 9/10 of the original population was extinguished through war, disease, enslavement, overwork, and famine, is another testament to the destructive power of colonialism. In the late 19th century, millions of Indians died of famine, while British colonial policy forced the country to export record levels of food. This is yet another example of the tragic consequences of colonialism. Do we also not remember the great Western ideology itself? Christianity is birthed in one of the bloodiest occupations of the Israelites, ethnic forebearers of today's modern Jewish descendants. Yet the text puts responsibility of those horrors not on the colonists that endured them, not the colonizers who performed such crimes. Even the text fails to mention its roots were in the Jewish rebellion against Roman occupation, nor that these distant cousins are fruits of the same seeds. In conclusion, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a complex issue rooted in centuries of history, colonialism, and displacement. The myriad of issues is muddied and soiled by the blood of the occupied on both sides. One forced to live under the constant occupation by the current warlord or faction. The other, mostly expelled and forced to live as nomads far from their home after at least 2 failed revolts against Roman imperial forces, whose journey back was only made concrete after Europe failed to address the ethnocentric atrocities within its own borders, a fact most Romani still face to this day. The establishment of a Jewish homeland, the displacement of Palestinians, the ongoing struggle for an independent Palestinian state, and the enduring impact of colonialism all contribute to this intricate tapestry. The path to resolution remains elusive, but one thing is for sure, if ever it is one. The family tree between Palestine and Israel is written in blood, tears, and trauma that cannot be soon washed away. So any hope for a lasting peace would dispense of such a soiled tapestry in favor of a new constructive one, built by the hands and minds of both, free of any external forces. Jordan, Syria, Egypt, Iraq, Iran, the UK, America, and so many more must do no more than help support peace. As the echoes of history continue to reverberate in the present, peace in the ancient Roman mandate of the Greater Syria-Palestinia seems tenuous at best. Yet as with any family, this is not a mere focus on who did what to whom. It must be a shared effort of recognizing the trauma both sides are responding to from people who walked away so long ago. A model for a newer form of cooperation and governance, not based on old ideological or religious differences, must be reached. One, at least in my mind, would result in a unified land resistant to outer influences, and that would see Israel's desire to be safe as equally respected and recognized by its Arab neighbors. One that saw the loss of a child regardless of their parents' national or ideological identity as being offensive and the attackers equally as sinister for doing so.